again, we're back for another video with Shamanism in the Car with Sarah. This is a butter pecan latte from Dunkin' Donuts that is mostly milk. Not my choice, but it happened, so, and it's huge, so I'm gonna probably consume it. I just did another video where we did part 2 of getting started with like opening your spirit gifts, opening your shamanic gifts, and I'll probably upload this one actually right after, because there's no sense in hoarding the info unless I want to schedule content, which, you know, there was a time in my life where I did schedule content, but that time's gone. I'll wait for this car to pass. Okay, so in this video, what we want to talk about is the upside down reel from Stranger Things. And because I did watch like maybe the first 2 seasons of Stranger Things, and then I stopped, and I don't even know how many seasons there are, maybe just 3, I don't know. I stopped like after a certain period of time. And largely it's kind of because of this reason, because it like kind of became too real, and I like didn't really want to be spending too much of my energy in that space. Because it just became too close to like what I've seen and experienced in shamanic journeys in a dark way, that I was just like, I don't want to put my energy in there. And this is a big reason why I don't watch ghost type shows that incite ghosts, or like scary ghost paranormal type shows that like kind of evoke that type of energy into your life. Because like if you're tuning into that, then like the spirit world and other spirits might notice and start to kind of tune your energy to that. And so I just didn't want to draw more of that to me. Anyway, with Stranger Things coming out again, and with this information about like timelines and the Hadron Collider coming back on, which I just did a video on, the timelines video, if you want to just go in my video feed and look at it, I wanted to talk about this upside down reel, because I've had people comment and message to me like, oh, Stranger Things was preparing us for what's going to happen. And no, like a lot of the things there have already happened. Like the Psychic Kids program was a real thing. I have and had clients who were part of it. And so that was real. And then the upside down, like, it's my theory that that is a realm that exists, and people can go there and people can get trapped there. In fact, I did this video on like psychosis, because I've spent so many years thinking about this and where people go when they get into a state like that. And I just keep coming back to it being this like an upside down type place that a consciousness can get lost into. And I've listened to some other videos from remote viewers and things like that, where they've said, okay, can a consciousness separate from a human body? And it happens all the time, because that's what essentially happens in shamanic journeying, where your spirit and your energy and an aspect of your consciousness separates and goes into these other realms on a shamanic journey. Now, in a shamanic journey, I train, and I've learned to do it in a very safe way, where you're grounded to this reality right here before you even attempt to venture out. But some people might do this when they sleep, like accidentally, in an astral travel kind of way, where they lose their tether. And some people might not have ever been trained. And so if they start having a shamanic initiation or shamanic awakening or some other type of spiritual awakening, and or spiritual experiences where their consciousness just kind of gets lost in these other realms, they can absolutely venture into these darker upside down type realms, which are, there's some of them that are not different than this physical reality. But if you think about it, when we've done videos on the middle world, when I've talked about the middle world, we're here on a physical plane, the ordinary reality. There is an equivalent non-ordinary reality that matches the physical plane called the middle world, right? So the upside down is basically the middle world in the dark aspects of the middle world. The middle world is this like darker, it's not necessarily dark, like there can be healing that happens in there, but it's like a space of duality where it's like not necessarily to be trusted. But there is an aspect to the middle world that is this darker space that you can journey into, like it's a non-ordinary shamanic realm. And it absolutely looks like here, but different. And it has different spirits in it and different beings in it and different entities in it, which is why it's so important that when you go on shamanic journeying and when you do meditation and when you're kind of venturing around in these spaces where you're separating your consciousness from an aspect of your consciousness from this reality, that you are grounding yourself and you are doing so from a space of light. Because once you go into those spaces, if you're not grounded here, it's possible to get stuck there. And then that's my theory. That's one cause or one potential place that somebody goes when they're in a psychosis state, is this upside down, or the flip side of the middle world, the non-ordinary reality of the shamanic middle world. And like I've talked about in other videos, the middle world is basically just a reflection of this physical plane, but in the spiritual and energetic realms of it, where it's not necessarily a place of healing, and actually can be quite dark. And what spirits have showed me is that the underworld is accessed through the middle world. So that's like demonic realms, right? So is the upside down real? Like, in my opinion, it's essentially a shamanic middle world, and potentially the underworld is what it also includes. And I've talked to to other people about this, and I've long believed that when movies, TV, media, stories, fiction stories aren't really fiction, like in a lot of cases, especially these like supernatural type things, it's my belief that people have either had visions of them, have had clairvoyant, intuitive visions of them, and that's where they get the content from, or they've personally experienced it and write about it as fiction, or it's downloaded to them by their own spirit guides, or like by other beings who are showing them that this stuff exists, and they're writing about it as this creative fiction story when it's really like it exists. So is Stranger Things like preparing us for what's to come? I think it already is existing, a lot of it, and I don't know what's happening in the newer seasons, and I like don't want to learn what they're talking about, but like, does the upside down exist? Yeah. Are a lot of the things that have happened in there and do happen in there real? Have they happened? People you know have probably seen versions of this. I know I've seen versions of it in shamanic journeys, and other shamans have probably seen versions of it too. Other clairvoyants, other intuitives and seers have probably seen versions of it also. Maybe if you're watching this, like, you have seen versions of it, whether you've gone there in an astral travel sense in your dreams, or in an altered state of consciousness, or a different state of consciousness. Yeah. So that's pretty much what this video is about. Is it real? Yes. And that's all. See you guys later. Bye.